Hey man, this video contains true stories from my youth. Included are some practical jokes. Stay to the end to hear about two celebrities. In the summer of 1988, my brother Steve and I worked for a temp service in Rockford, Illinois, assigned to a cheese factory to make $3.35 per hour. We were both in high school and just trying to make money for Air Jordans and getting a used car. Our shift was 3 to 11 p.m. doing sanitation on a crew of 6 men. Our supervisor was an ex-convict and the other guys had done prison time also. One night as we were sitting around eating snacks from the vending machine, someone, not me, decided to tip the machine to get free candy. This led to 3 guys tipping it upside down and getting almost all of the chips, candy, gum, etc. out for free. The next night they, came in and did it again. Our supervisor, who generally didn't care about anything we did, walked in and said the daytime general manager knows what happened and said if it happens again, someone is getting fired. Everyone was nervous and says we need to put money into the machine to take away all the empty spots. Nobody had any money. I drove home to get all the change that I had. It sucked to put quarter after quarter into the machine, press the button, and get nothing in return. 1988 had many consecutive days of 100-degree weather. It had to be 125 degrees inside as we worked. The hot water we used in hoses to wash down the machines and floor was boiling hot. It was fun to spray each other from long distance to get a crazy reaction. We used caustic acid for sanitizing machines and playing practical jokes. A guy that came in late every night was our target. We put acid on his apron, boots, and rubber gloves. Well, the wrong guy put all this gear on and came up to chat with me. As he made a funny face and began wiggling, not knowing what we had done, he ran to the ice water hose that was used in production of cheese. He put this down his pants to wash the acid off, and I hid behind a machine to laugh, not wanting to let him know what we had done. A huge cooler about the size of a gymnasium stored all the cheese that was made for the government and Burger King. It felt great to hang out in there and have forklift races. Going too fast, we ran the 2 forks into a pallet of cheese. Not wanting to leave the evidence, we threw it away. Hey, this cheese looks good. We stole a 50-pound block to take home for grilled cheese sandwiches. After 2 weeks of cutting off pieces, we threw it away. 48 pounds remaining. I remember it like yesterday. I had to move the shelf down in the refrigerator so it would fit. Looking into the refrigerator at it every day, a huge piece of cheese and just a little bit cut off. It was sad. One night, Steve ran up to me exclaiming, "I got Marcus good. You know the soybean oil they put in the cheese? It looks exactly like blood." "Yes?" He was up on a ladder, and I spread it all over my arm. I yelled his name, and he slid down so fast, he didn't even touch a step. He shouted, "What happened?" and looked at my arm dripping with blood. I said, "Nothing," and walked off, leaving him wondering what I just did. President Reagan ended the government cheese program, and we got assigned to Camcar Textron, an automobile fastener company. This was 3rd shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Staying awake was difficult. Steve stood in the middle of an aisle, staring at the ceiling with a puzzled look on his face. People walking by looked up and asked what was going on. Steve replied, "I can't figure this out." Several more people came by. He resisted laughing. Eventually, the plant manager came up and wanted to know what was going on. Steve said, "Nothing." walked away, leaving them all wondering. Steve's immediate boss had a girlfriend that also worked there and got in an argument with him. Steve said a lot of profanity. The boss sat him down and said he was giving him 2 days off without pay. Steve replied, "I think this is more serious than you are stating. It should warrant at least a 1-week suspension." He was super happy to visit the water park and watch TV for the week. Also, Steve was not allowed to officially drive the forklift, so he took a piece of metal to a grinding machine and made a key copy. After driving around for a few days, a boss asked how he could be doing this unauthorized. Steve confessed and was fired. One night I was working in a CNC machine room hand-feeding parts. I had an idea for a practical joke and ran it by a permanent employee. He loved the idea and took it to our big boss for approval. She said yes. So at exactly 10 p.m., this is what I did. I was wearing a cotton glove and had to put a part in with a hydraulic arm to hold it in place. I pulled my index finger out, made it look like my finger had been smashed, screamed out, "Norm!" Norm was the setup guy for my machine. I threw my metal chair against the wall for sound effects, got on my knees to pretend I was in pain. He ran over, hit the emergency stop, spent 30 seconds trying to get my hand free. I stood up, smiled, made eye contact, and he just walked away. Norm did not talk to me for a week. If you liked this video, please click like and subscribe. In the 80s, I essentially grew up in a baseball card shop called Gary's Dugout. Gary invited me to a show in Galesburg, Illinois that had Joe DiMaggio signing autographs. Near the end, Gary gave me a baseball and his free ticket to get an autograph for being a vendor. He offered to buy me an autograph to get in line. I said no need, that meeting DiMaggio would be enough. As I made it closer to the table, he never looked up or talked to anyone. As I got in front, I put my hand in his face to get him to shake my hand. For one reason only. I wanted to tell people years later, this is the hand that touched Joe DiMaggio, that touched Marilyn Monroe.